Hello and welcome. I am your host of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Author Karen E. Osborne. I have five novels out. The latest is Justice for Emerson. I am so glad that you're here. This is a space for readers and writers to come together and talk about books. So today, my guest is Heidi Hess. Hey, Heidi.
Hey, how are you?
I am great. So good to see you again. It's been a couple of months, and I love seeing you again. I met this incredible author, artist, and promoter at one of her book events. She really supports local authors, and she had a wonderful event, Read It, Write It. And I missed the year before. So the minute the last one was finished, I signed up for the new one and and it was accepted, and I've signed up for next year's. Just a really lovely event, and you just meet cool people and great books. So Heidi is really into a lot of things, and we're going to talk about all three of them today. So I thought we might start with Heidi the artist. So
Mhm.
first, tell us a little bit about your artistic visual art journey.
Sure. You find creative people usually do a couple of different things, and it just hits different parts of the brain. I started really painting and drawing probably junior high, probably around the same time that I started writing. And it's just a fantastic outlet. I started watercolor. I love watercolor. And then I started using watercolor and then pencil and then I started writing. And when I started writing, I started incorporating my art in with my stories. So there's a couple of pieces that I have that kind of tie into the stories that I have too. So
Oh, that's very good. I tried all those things. I tried sculpting, I tried poetry, I tried watercolors, I tried acrylics. I was really bad at all of them.
it's just practice. It really is. It's just practice and
It's a way of
um,
telling stories, right?
yeah. It's just and it's practice. You just gotta, it's like writing. The things that you write today aren't going to be as good as the things that you write tomorrow. You know what I mean? So you just have to keep at it. Just
Yeah,
keep at
don't
it.
give it
And
up.
no, absolutely not.
Show us some of your lovely paintings, drawings.
Sure, yeah. I start out, with the pencil, and then I'll go ahead and I'll switch over to watercolor, and then I go back in with colored pencils because I really like how it makes like colors and things pop. I don't know if you can see that, but
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. I can see
yeah,
it.
that's my
And I love the
compass.
stack of books.
Yes. So the stack of books is my inspiration for Read It, Write It. If you look at the logo, it's a stack of books, and this
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
original. Yeah, that was my original for that. And then so I write a lot of sometimes a lot of creepy stuff sometimes. And I drew heart,
Oh,
so it's an actual heart. I
it
did that for
is.
Valentine's Day. And then yeah, it's
Oh,
a
a
dragonfly.
dragonfly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then
let
you
me see.
incorporate some of those into your books.
I do. Yeah, I do. So I have this one here. I don't know if this will be if you'll be able to see this really well. The one and only love story that I ever wrote. It was a young adult and it had to do with bats. Not vampires, but bats. So you can see here, I don't know if it's
Oh,
hard to see, but there's a heart
I can see
and
it.
yeah, and the bats are kind of breaking off of the heart. So that was kind
Yeah.
of, yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
then I'm trying
Mm.
to think. There's one more. Oh, this is fun. So I was in a horror anthology called It's All Fun and Games Until Somebody Dies. And it's horrific takes on like kid games. And so the game that I picked was Spin the Bottle, right? Because all the kids, back when, I was a kid, it was like, Spin the Bottle was a thing. And so I did this.
Ooh, with
And
blood dripping. Mm.
kind of creepy, kind of creepy. Yeah, so that's
I
the kind of
like
stuff
that
that I
one.
do. Yeah, oh, there's this one too. So in Chronicles of Chaos, and I'll get to that. There's a story in there about an artist, and she has a painting that comes to life, and it's a kraken. So I did this one.
Mhm.
You can see that,
Oh,
but
look at that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when I can, I try to, go ahead and incorporate art into different things because
So
sometimes it
you're
helps. If I get stuck with a story, I'll, go out for a walk, or sometimes, it stimulates different parts of the brain. I'll go ahead and I'll sit down and draw something, or, paint,
trying.
or yeah,
All of a
whatever.
sudden you've got an idea. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so one of the other things that I really admire about you, and then we're going to talk about your books, which I admire too. But one of the other things is that you do promote authors. Um, you do things, both of us have that kind of passion to help our fellow authors. And can you tell us a little bit, and you're a promoter. So tell us a little bit about that side of your life.
Absolutely. So, I've always, since I've been doing this, I thought, this is a lonely road. If you decide that you want to write something and then you want to publish something, um, it's a lonely road. It really is. It's a very solitary thing. And I found, like Facebook was really helpful, and that was great. But, I went ahead and I even had a writing group, and like nobody showed up. And I was like, well, I know there's more of me out there. I just know it. And so I thought, there weren't enough events, book events here locally. And I thought, I'm just gonna start it. I'm just gonna do it. And I remember when I first started the first Read It, Write It, I remember thinking, there's gonna be people who are like, what makes you think that you can do this? Well, why not?
Mm,
Why not?
mm,
Right? What is it that they say? Invention is necessity is the mother of invention, something like that.
mhm.
And I really feel like we've created a community. In fact, I've
Yes.
had a lot of people say at the different Read It, Write It. So in June, it'll be our fifth one, which is mind-boggling to me. But people say, it's like seeing family, and that that is like the best compliment. You see
Mhm.
people, and you get in touch with them, and you make connections, you learn things. You gain new readers, and also, writers are readers, right? Who is it?
Oh,
Stephen King.
yes.
Stephen King said that we should be reading more than we're writing. And so, you go to these events and you support other authors, you read their work, you leave reviews, because we understand how important reviews are.
Mhm.
But it's really about building a community. That's really what it's about, and supporting other authors. Um, I've had a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I'm stuck. I can't do this," and sometimes they just need that nudge. Come on, get going. Let's do this. Let's do this. You
Exactly.
can do it. And so I try to do that. I try to do that as much as I can. And
Yeah, it's a really beautiful thing.
hey,
And you say about building community,
mhm,
just having been there once, I already, I made writer friends, and then there was a couple of writers I already knew that were
mhm,
there. For those of you who are watching, we're in Florida, and
mhm,
so this is a local Florida, Central South Florida um, event. But the concept is one that I think is important to all writers, and that is you need community. You
mhm,
need community. It makes such a difference because it is very lonely, isn't it?
mhm.
So
Yeah, and
thank you.
yeah, oh, no problem. And it's hard knowing what is the path, what is the journey. Great, I sat down and I wrote this book. Now what do I do? And in fact, I think there's a book out there with a title like that. I wrote a book. Now what do I do? And I mean, you can, Google it, you can, whatever. But being surrounded in a community of other writers, um, is wonderful. The Facebook groups, depending on what genre you write. So I write paranormal fiction. Sometimes I write horror. Sometimes the stuff that I write is really genre spanning. But there's a page on Facebook, and it's called Books of Horror, and they are active and opinionated and kind, and they'll answer whatever questions you have. It's a great group. Same thing with Florida Writers Association.
Yes.
If anybody, I love Florida Writers Association. It's an amazing group. Their conference, I always walk away from the conference feeling energized, and rejuvenated and learning something that I didn't know before. And
Yeah.
community is so
Yeah.
important, so important.
It really is. And online and offline. It's wonderful to have those relationships online and offline. So let's talk about your short story collections. So show
Okay.
us again the beautiful show us. I don't know if we showed them yet. Show the beautiful covers. Look at these gorgeous, gorgeous covers.
So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll show them to you like when they first came out to what's out now, right? So I started out with the short end of madness. And so basically this is short stories about people that are either insane or are going insane. And it's genre spanning. So, we have some paranormal, we have a little science fiction. We actually open with science fiction. There's a little bit of horror, like some gory stuff. Yeah, but this one, I would say out of the other two books, this one is probably the closest to horror that you're going to get. But this is my first baby. This is my first. So I sat down, I put all of the short stories together, and then I went on KDP and I was like, all right, I'm doing this. And it was the day after my birthday. And I was like, look at this, I have a book on Amazon. This is crazy. And I also have Short Road to Shadows. I call this my creepy vacation. And yeah, so it takes place, it's all of these, again, genre spanning. This one I would say is probably the most lighthearted out of all of them. I mean, there's still we open with a hike in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park based on personal experience. And it's a little paranormal, it's a little weird. Um, but the majority of this is a little on the lighthearted side. Opening, not so much. Oh, now that I think about it, the very last story is pretty scary. Now that I think about it, but anyway, it takes place all over the globe. So we start out in the Appalachian Mountains, and then we end, I think, in the Catskills. But we go to London for a gentleman who has been commissioned to be a ghost hunter during World War II. We go to
Oh,
Belize for an entertainer that is a lightning rod, basically, which is sounds weird. The stuff that I write is a little strange. I'm just going to tell you, it is. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone meets Black Mirror, that kind of stuff.
sounds
Yeah, so yeah, it's my
fun.
second one. And then my latest one, this is the Chronicles of Chaos. And so I do an awful lot of comic conventions. I go to comic conventions and I set up and I sell my books. And while you're sitting there, there's downtime. And I thought it'd be cool to have a book that has a bunch of different stories in it that take place in and around like a comic convention or pop culture convention. So in here I have three different stories based on events, paranormal events that are happening at comic conventions or pop culture, conventions, whatever it is that you want to call it. But yeah, so that's that. So Chronicles of Chaos is out now. Get your copy. Hey,
Yes, yes. It sounds like you
that's
have
my
fun
shameless plug.
writing them.
Yeah,
And
it's fun.
now you have tried something new and you have a novel that is, we're not at the time of this recording, we're not sure if it's out or it's still almost out, but either way, it'll be this year. So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about your newest.
Yeah. So I um I don't know if have you ever seen Dexter? Have you seen Dexter at all? Okay.
Yeah.
So Dexter is it's one of my favorite shows. It was a great show, and when um the first show ended, I was kind of sad and I was like, I feel like there's more here to tell. And so I sat down and I really started thinking about it and I was like, well, what if, right? Here we go. What if um two serial killers fell in love? What would that look like? Um, would they know? Would they not know? Um, and it turned out, so I'm not sure what kind of writer you are, Karen, but I'm a discovery writer. So I will sit down and start writing, and then sometimes the story will take me in another direction. And that's exactly what
Absolutely.
happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. The love story is still there, but there was a deeper story to be uncovered, and that's where I'm at now. And so we're in the editing process, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to take the love story out and have that be a separate thing, or if I'm going to keep it in. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. it's done. The first draft is done, and we're going through the edits, and so that's good. I have a wonderful editor. Hi, Allison. Um, and yeah, so we're working on it. We're working
It's
on it.
very exciting. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
I don't have a title yet, because I want to see the finished product before I go ahead and give it a title. I think there's
So
some people that
what's
start out with the title, that they start out
Mhm.
with the title and then they write the story around it. I can't do that. Just can't do
I
that.
just interviewed Rob Johnson. He has a third book out, and he asked me. He said, well, how do you start? And I say, oh, I start with, my characters are talking to me, and
Hmm.
then they're telling me like this is what's
Hmm.
going on, and I have to pull over because they're
Yeah.
talking to each other, and he looked at me like, really? So I said, well, how
Yes.
do you start? He says, a title just bursts in my head. And then
Wow.
once I see the title, so, inspiration comes, right? And we're all different, and inspiration comes from all kinds of places. And as long as we're having a good time,
Right.
right? Because this is a hard road.
Yeah.
So
And
we need to
it's
have,
it's important that everybody understands it's different for everyone. My writing process is not going to be like your writing process, which isn't going to be like anybody else's process, but um, sometimes it's good to talk to other authors or other writers and get their perspective, get their idea. Stephen King, I hate to keep talking about Stephen King because he already makes enough money, but he has a book and it's called I think it's called Memoirs on Writing. And he put words to things in the very beginning that I needed to hear, such as wherever it is that you write, you need to have a door. And it gave me permission to go somewhere with a door and close it and sit down and write and not feel guilty about it. You know what I mean? Like, when you live in the house and everybody's walking around, doing their thing, and it's hey mom, can you, and it's but I needed to hear that, So you just don't, yeah. Anyway, but other people's processes can help you in your own process. So it's good,
absolutely,
good
and
to
give
talk
you
about.
thoughts and ideas, and just talking about books can get
Mhm.
you, just a conversation like this can
Yeah.
get somebody spark an idea, spark a journey. So talking about sparks, as you think about your writing journey or your journey as an artist,
Mhm.
either one, was there a book or a person that had a really big impact on who you are as an artist or as a writer?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I love short stories. I love writing short stories. Um, I think the short stories are an art form in themselves. But the great thing about short stories is that it begins and it ends, and it's kind of it's like its own thing. But when the kids were little, so my kids are now in college, and if they're watching this, hey, they when they were little, right, they would go ahead and they would take naps about the same time. And I found, my kids were 18 months apart, so it was hard for me to really sit down and read a book, you know what I mean, like a big novel from beginning
Hmm.
to end. But I still wanted to read. And so I found Karen Russell. That's her name, Karen Russell. She wrote a book called Swamplandia, and I
Ah,
loved it.
mhm.
Takes place down south. It's an alligator farm that's kind of going belly up. But it's a family. It's a family that runs it, and so there's all of these different stories and different things happening. And it was a beautiful book. And so with the kids, I went ahead and I found that Karen Russell, she had several collections of short stories, and I thought, well, I don't have time or the energy or the inclination to sit down and really, get involved in a, knee deep in a, really long book. So I thought, let me try the short stories. And her collections of short stories are phenomenal. They're wonderful and creepy and weird. And so I was just so inspired. I'm still inspired. I still go back to her work, and it's like, I don't know how else to explain it, but I think if you read and if you enjoy reading, there are those times where you read something and you're like, oh, I could bite that. oh, it's so good. You know what I mean? Like that is such a beautiful paragraph or such a beautiful sentence, and it's so beautiful.
Sentence.
You have to share it. You have to share it with someone. And I do that all with my husband. I'll be like, "Hey, listen to this." Da, 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 da. And he's like, "Oh, that's great." But it's but
Yeah, that's great.
that's
That's a great example. And
yeah.
have you, one of the things we try to always end the program with is a recent read
Mhm.
that you could recommend to our audience.
Sure. So I just finished two books. The one that I just finished was called Victorian Psycho. It's kind of a short read. It's not super long, but it takes place during the Victorian era and it's a governess. And so if you enjoy creepy, you enjoy horror, a little gore, it's really good. It's really, really good. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends. And then Grady Hendrix, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. I mean, Grady Hendrix doesn't need any press. And actually, I don't like Grady Hendrix. Shh, don't tell him. But somebody had said to me, "Listen, you need to read this because this is a really good book." And she was right. She was absolutely right. So those are the two things that I've read recently that I would recommend. Excellent books, really, really good.
Thank you. Thank you. That is terrific. So now everybody's interested, very, very interested in you. So tell our audience where they can find your books, where they can find out more information about you, where they can be in touch with you and find a social media or
Yeah.
yeah.
So all of my books are available on Amazon. So all you have to do is just type in Heidi Hess and my books will pop up. Or you can go to my website, which is HeidiCreates.net. Also, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. I do most of my author work on my personal page, so it's Heidi A. Hess. That's me. You can also go to the Read It, Write It Book and Writing Festival Facebook page. I'm active on there. I have a Substack as well, Heidi Creates Substack, that I just started, and I'll have a new one out tonight at midnight. So yeah, I call them my midnight musings. But yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thank
Yay.
you, Heidi. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you all for watching. Please go find her books, read her books, write reviews.
Very
And
important.
when you do get in touch with Heidi, you know what to do. Tell her you met her on What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Have a
So
great week, everybody.
thank you so much, Karen. Bye.
Thank you.